Hi guys, my name's Hannah and I'm the C5 nut. Well, this is going to be part 2 on fitting Zenons to a Citroen C5 that was not originally designed for Zenons. Right, so I've seen some of your comments and yes, I sort of agree. At the time of making that video, half of me was like, yeah, it's fine. But because I am autistic, this plug's been driving me nuts, like literally nuts. I can't sleep without thinking about this sodding plug. So, I did some work for Phil, who's got Sicily, and Sicily had to have her dash removed due to a flap in the heater box that broke, and it was just, it was a bit of a mission, but we done it. But he has kindly, and I'm like really grateful for this actually, but he's actually donated to the cause. So what I'm going to do is show the camera, or flip the camera around, and I'll show you what he gave me. Right guys, so this is the French version of a Haynes manual. It does cover the 2-litre HDI and also the 2.2 HDI, which is music to my ears because the Haynes Museum or the Haynes Manual, who makes them, the magazine, they don't cover the 2.2. And yeah, so this is basically the French version, and I come across it's got a lot of wiring diagrams. I mean, a lot. Everything's in French. My Poxy laptop doesn't have any wiring at all on suspension, hence why I built that thing. But I have noticed what the 3-pin wire does, and I'm going to tell you how to do it. Right, so this one here, which is C001, is actually the diagnostic socket. This one here, which is 7740, is the suspension. Now that poxy little 3-pin plug, where is it? This one here. This poxy plug here is these here, which apparently is the self-leveling for the Zenons. Basically, even though technically you can drive that, that's fine. You go up a hill. What happens when you go up the hill? Well, someone else is coming down the hill and they're getting blinded by this. Now, all that motor or that 3-pin plug does is just lowers the headlights down, so you're not actually blinding the person coming down the other way. So that's the theory behind it. But I like to try, and I like a challenge. Obviously, come on, guys, this car is a massive challenge on its own right. So what we're going to do today is fit this 3-pin plug into those headlights and have it fully wired up. Right, so there's 3 pins. One goes to the diagnostics, we're aware of that. One goes to the hydro pump, which we're aware of that. Where does the other wire go? Well, strangely enough, it goes into the BSI. Now, I had a look on my test rig, and I think it was, yeah, this one down here. So we looked down at the BSI, and then you got the big plugs and stuff. The one you want to do is this black plug here. Now, if I remember rightly off the top of my head, it's not that one, it'd be this green one that I've just stupidly put away. So, right, can I do this one-handed? Yes, I can. Right. Okay, so that is pin 21. There's a wire in pin 22, but there's nothing in pin 23. And we need a wire coming off pin 23. Okay, well, that's not an issue, because I've got tons of spare cable here that's not doing anything. So I could nick one of the pins off another plug just to shove in that hole. But then I've got another issue. So down at the hydro pump, now according to the manual it is 3E, So it is literally behind this white wire here. There's not a wire in there, it's just blank. Let's see if I can zoom in. See there, right in that corner, there should be a wire in there, and there isn't. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, how am I going to get around this one? And then I suddenly realised I do have quite a few of these plugs. Like, this is an old engine management plug. I don't tend to chuck these away because I know at some point, like today, I'm going to need a pin or a wire off it. So I did. I took this nice little purple one with the with that connector on. So all I've got to do is just ram it in that hole until it clicks. Job done. So, would I connect the diagnostics up? Well, yeah, I might as well. There's no point sort of just going like, you know, a little bit and not actually do it fully. So, well, yeah, we're going to need some wire. Funny that. I don't chuck away wire either. Because just down here, amongst a load of crap, I got some wire. And people say I'm a bit of a hoarder. I might be a bit of a hoarder, but at least I've got wire that's suitable for the car. Right guys, I'm going to hold it here for a second. I'm going to take the bumper front off again. Just so I can take the driver's headlight out. We need to get into this plug down here, and I need full access to it. So what I'm going to do is pull the headlight out to get to that plug. Also, I've got to make a new harness for the lights as well, so that 3-pin plug to connect to the other side. I'm not entirely sure the best way to go about it. I mean, the original lights went across there, and that's a lot of work to try and feed the cable through. So I might actually cheat and possibly run the cable across this way. Yeah, we say how we go. Right, I'll pause the video and I'll get this done. Okay guys, so don't know if you guys can see, let me just zoom in. So you've got one plug which is going to be on the driver's side. There's 3 sets of cables going across to the other plug, which is going to be the passenger side, and then there's 2 extra cables then come off. Right, so on the driver's side, this single wire, which is pin 1, that needs to go to the pump, so hydraulic pump. Since the hydraulic pump is on the driver's side, I thought, well, I'll just feed that off. And then both the 3 wires going across to the passenger side, both the terminals are linked together. So pin 1 is the same as pin 1 there, pin 3 is the same as pin 3, etc. Right, now pin 2 and 3 both then come across into these 2 wires. Now clearly those 2 wires need to go into the firewall for the BSI. Now, I'm not entirely sure if you remember on my last few videos. I just need to grab a screwdriver, what is suitable, that will do. Right, now, some of you are aware, but the others that aren't, I'm just going to take this cover off and I will show you how to get into the firewall without drilling any holes. That bloody clip is a nightmare. There we go. That should be all the clips. Right. Now, Citroen in their ultimate wisdom used to put repair wires in, and can I see them? Nope, I can't. Well, that's a bit crap. There's got to be some repair wires in there, surely it's got to be. Oh, I see one of them. Tucks right down the bottom there. Where's that one connected to? Oh, that goes into the engine harness, but it goes from the car itself. So see these what looks like broken wires. They're not actually broken. Citroen, in their ultimate wisdom, thought that if there was an issue with the wiring, that they would put wires into the firewall. So at the other end of the BSI, you will see the other end of that wire is just be free floating. So I'm actually going to use or utilize 2 of these wires. I think in total there's 4, maybe 5 repair wires. I can't remember. I mean, it's been long ago since I built that thing. But yeah, I'm going to utilize these repair wires to get into the BSI. Saves me having to cut anything. So basically, on the passenger side, the 2 wires get connected to there and then gets connected into the BSI. Now, I did say that I am going to try and blag my way through around the fan area, and that is still going to be the case, because what I can do is this clip, or that wire there, is actually for the old bonnet release. So I'm actually going to clip that. It's only because you've got the fan here, and I don't want to get too close to the fan. It's going to start chewing up wires. So I'm going to run a cable literally through there. And obviously, when you do open the bonnet, it looks all nice and clean. You're not going to see any of these wires. There's one thing I will do is there's already heat shrink in there with the wires already soldered and everything else, but I'm going to put some insulation, some conduit on these, just to make it a bit better and fit in with the rest of the car. So I'll quickly do this, I'll quickly feed it through, and I'll bring you back. Right guys, so this is where I'm at. I've got the old plug in, nice conduit. I've still got to connect that into that for the hydro pump. I just took the covering off so it's easy to get the wire in, and then I'll just tape all that up and make it nice and pretty. Alright, now the cable goes through here, above this way, as you can see there. I cable tied it so it's away from the fan, cable tied it down there. There's a little gap there, runs across here towards there. She's actually plugged in on this side, so this headlight is now plugged into that loom. The wiring then carries on up to here. This is their repair wires, and there was 4 on this vehicle, so I only needed 2. So the other 2 that was free floating, I just put some heat shrink on it, like so. And then the other 2, I've utilised the wires, and they then go in through the cab. Now I did have a bit of an issue of the fact of the cables for the BSI are very tight. So in order to get to the plug I want to get to, it's right down the back. I've now actually managed to disconnect it and bring it forward. So what we need to do is take the green bit out of this black bit and then put another pin in. Again, these are the repair wires, so the blue is obviously not being used. I'll just put the heat shrink on there. The yellow one, that was zoom back in here, the yellow one actually needs to go to the diagnostic socket, which is up here, but I don't have the correct pin for it. So at a later date I will connect that up. All it does is goes to that plug, so it's not going to do any harm, you know, it's just free floating. But this wire here, the sort of last wire, this one here, needs to go into this green plug, pin 23. So yeah, what I'm going to do guys is I'm going to strip this down, put another pin in, connect it up to this wire, and then connect it up at the other end, and I'll bring it back when I'm up to a point of putting everything all back together, and we will see. Okay guys, so here's the wire. I said it was pin 3E, but as it turns out, I just double checked and it was actually pin 3F, which was the next one. But it's okay. It kind of threw me a little bit when I actually went to come and fit it, because obviously pin 3E already had a wire attached to it. So I just double checked the manuals, and sure enough, yeah, it was definitely pin 3F, and there was nothing in there at all. So I put that in there. So all I've got to do now, I will say, to get the pin in, you see this green slot here, you need to pull that out, so it literally slides out in order to get the pin in. If you don't do that, the pin will not reach its where it needs to reach. It just stops it in the way. But this green thing actually holds the pin in place. So all I've got to do is put the cover back on, that just slides in. Make that all nice and pretty, and yeah, no one would ever be the wiser. Right, now let's go around to the BSI. Right, let's have a look. Now I have, let me zoom in a bit. Now I have heat shrinked it with you know, solder and heat shrink. I took the black plug off and pulled the green one, and don't know if I can see, it's just here, you just about see it says 21. Well, what you want is actually number 3, so you know, you work from left to right. So you've got 21, 22, 23, and that's what this wire is attached to. It's on pin 23. So yeah, all I've got to do is put that back in, somehow put everything all back in, plugged back in. Like I say, guys, these wires are a bit tight, so you might have to take the first row of plugs off just to lower the BSI from the housing. Yeah, I will come back at a later date for the OBD socket. Like I say, I haven't actually got a pin for it, so I will go and grab a pin for it at some point. The plan for this car is I'm gonna stick an alarm system on it. So Citroen, an alarm. The wire it is there for it. I did actually look on the check sheet, and it does have an option for the alarm. So hopefully it should just be plug and play. But knowing my luck, yeah, it may not go down that way. But you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. We will get there, and we work out together on video on how we're going to solve the issues. So yeah, I'm going to quickly plug this back in. I'm going to make it all nice and pretty, and I'll bring you back. Hey guys, so hi Jessie, crazy dog. Right, so obviously everything's all back to normal. The interior's all back in, including the glove box. Right, so I've plugged my diagnostics in. It's what Citroen use, and I've already logged in. So what we're going to do is click diagnosis. Now we need to go to the BSI. Let's go global test. Basically, sometimes the car goes to sleep. Oh, that's stupid. That's another thing I'm going to take out. That bloody traffic master. Piece of junk. Right, so what it's going to do now, it's going to search for all the ECUs and stuff that's in the car. May take a minute. So I've got issues with the stereo. I bet that's something to do with the antenna. They are quite common for that. I've got a problem with the injection and the ABS. Well, that's a bit weird. Let's have a quick look and see what's going on with it. Let's see what it says. Yeah. Right, let's go fault reading. Let's see what it says. Oh yeah, just temporary faults. Well, let's just delete it. Yeah, blah blah blah. Sweet, there's no more faults. So if we come back out of here, that should go to no. Let's have a look, find out why the engine's not happy. It did have a slight misfire the other day. I think that's down to the exhaust. That's something we are going to sort out, hopefully sometime this week. EGR coherence, yeah, intermittent, yeah. Okay, there might be a slight leak on the manifold. Okay, but again, they're only intermittent faults. So what we'll do is we'll delete them. Okay, let's ask for mileage. 1, 2, 3, 4, don't matter. You need to stick a number in there in order for it to sort out. Whatever mileage you put in, don't worry about it. It's not actually gonna, it's not actually gonna do that. So whatever. Right. So okay. So now that should go to nope. Yep. So that's back to no. Okay. So the display issues. Let's have a look at this. Reading. Okay, yep, so this always comes on, always. Don't know why. It says it's an intermittent fault. There might be a break in the wire somewhere, but unless it's actually stays permanent, I can't really, I ain't gonna find it. That should go to no. Right, so car phone, well, it's got no car phone in there anyway. Let's go to the stereo. I bet it moans about the aerial. Let's have a look. Oh look, permanent fault of the aerial input. Basically, these aerials on the back there, they've got an amplifier built in, so it needs 12 volts in order for them to work. They always go. So basically, I need to get a new aerial. There's no point me deleting it because it's going to come straight back on again. Let's have a look, find out why the control panel's not happy. What is it going to say? Oh yeah, just all these are just intermittent. Again, that might be down to that slight misfire. So we're just going to delete them. Okie dokie. Right, so what we want to do is let's go into the BSI. Alright. Yeah, BSI. Right, now what we need to do is, I think it's configuration. Click on that. Manual. Right, so customer options, let's have a look. So rain alarm option is missing, that's fine. Central lock-in, automatic closing of the windows in the event of the rain. I'm going to switch that off because it drives me nuts. Yeah, it drives me nuts. If I'm smoking or vaping, the car wants to close the window even though I want it open. So I'm going to switch that off. Let's switch it back on again.
Traffic marker.
Oh, that's really going to bug the hell out of me. Right, so now we switched it off. Right, there's no parking sensors. Seat belts not fastened, LED, that's fine. Child safety LED option, yeah, we want to leave that. Presence of rear wiper in reverse, yes, we leave that alone. Let's go down. Oh, that's the only thing it's going to let me, and that's on the customer options. Now what we're going to have to do is go into configuration. Right, so these are more stuff. So it does have aircon, it is right hand drive. Electric window slightly open. option using, yeah, that's fine. So basically this one here is if you hit the little button on the remote, it puts the windows down. That's perfectly fine. Right, rear screen option, a wiper option, yes. Right, headlamp washer option is missing. That's good. We want to leave it missing. Let's go down. Right, dynamic, yeah. Where's this bloody front fog lights? That's the one. Right, front fog lamps. We're going to switch that to no because it doesn't have front fog lights anymore. It's got Zenons. Writing is possible but protected by an access code. Yes. Now you're probably wondering what the access code is, and I've written it down on my laptop. 03114. That is a generic code. That's a generic code for all BSIs. It's what the dealer uses basically. Right, now I've got switch ignition on.
Traffic master.
And that bloody traffic master is I'm really gonna have to stop myself from not picking up the hammer and beating the hell out of it. Right, let's just double check. So front fog lights is now off, that's good. Daytime and running lights, no, it doesn't have that. Electric window, well, whatever that crap is, no, I don't care about that. Frequency, automatic closing of the windows in event of rain, it's set to no, which is good. Type of lock-in, the usual stuff. Right, so everything in there seems to be perfectly fine. The funny thing is, you can actually adjust the fuel, you know, at what point the light comes on, which is a bit nuts. So yeah, and then it talks about the you got like tyre pressure warning monitoring system. This car hasn't got it, so it doesn't need it. Right, after being on there, we need to go to the suspension side of things. So let's come back out of that. Right, now let's see, where does it say suspension? I should wear my glasses. No, I don't. Does it tell me? There we go, suspension. Right, let's click on that one. Yeah. Right, now let's go to configuration. And let's see what it says. Steering angle, yeah, don't need that one. Suspension, so I'm just learning at the same time as you guys, really. Right, hydraulic function, yeah, headlamp beam correction function. So it is actually activated. To be configured, right. Citroen, yeah. So it's already activated, just because I plugged those headlights. It says to be configured if the vehicle has dynamic headlamps being correctors. Citroen C5 with Zenon headlamps. Well, I'm actually going to click configuration just to 100% that, you know, that it is selected, which it is. So yeah, hopefully that should be it. Let's just double check any faults, which I don't think there's going to be any faults. No faults found. And that's it, guys. That is literally it. Yeah. What can I say? What can I say? That is it. Right, so Zenons is now working properly. Okay, I still got that little wire to do for the diagnostics. That will be done at a later date once I've got a proper pin for the plug. Yeah. Yeah, where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go? Yeah. Well, guys, I'm going to leave it just here because, one, I'm bloody tired. That bloody 3-pin plug kept me up. Sit down for once. Yeah, I just want to sort of clarify that obviously what we're doing here is up to the abilities. one last question before I go. Someone wanted to know what I'm using to replace the damaged nuts. And a few years ago, I come across a trader down at the Citroen, one of the Citroen shows, and they got all sorts of different clips and stuff. And I came across one of these. Now this is what sits in that hole. It just clips in. So all I've done is just put a new one of these in under there with a new bolt. Job done. You could always like nut and bolt it, but then every time you've got to take the headlight out, you then got to somehow get the spanner in and do all of that. With the other one, it's just, you just undo the nut and it comes off. You could use rib nuts, but in all honesty, the rib nuts, they're okay, but because it's a square hole, they don't fit properly, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So, yeah, what a day it's been. What a day. You know, I'm going to put my hands up. Like, you know, I'm only learning by doing these videos. You know, I've learned so much over the last 14 years of ownership on a C5, and it just blows your mind. But by me making these videos, it basically saves you guys the heartache of having to do research, look into thousands upon thousands of pages and books and CD-ROMs and God knows what else of information just about these cars. So yeah, by having a video like this, you guys know what you need to do and go from there basically. So yeah, I'm going to leave the video here, guys. I want to get this video up as quickly as I can since the last video. Basically we found a slight issue, but we're dealing with it, and that's the main thing. I have spoken to some of my friends, and they do say that yes, you could drive with the Zenons as they are, but because, you know, if you do go up a hill or something like that, they need to self-levelize. One even said is when you turn the lights on, they self-levelize anyway, but they just need that extra sensor just to confirm that it's doing what it needs to do. But obviously you're going to know that when you're driving down the road, and the light will be pinging up, all that. But it's just an extra safety feature of having, you know, just that third plug, or the second plug with the 3 pins on it, plugged in. At least you know 100% that everything's going to be perfectly fine with it. But yeah, I can say that regards to this 3-pin plug, the SX don't have that. Not even the some exclusives do, but the LX, so the basics, and the SX don't have the third plug. So yeah, if you want Zenons, you need to do what I've just done. It's 100% covered your back. Right, this car is the only one, I think, definitely in the UK, if not the world, that's an LX that's got all the toys off an SX, not XX, exclusive. Yeah, I kind of enjoy up-speccing C5s. Well guys, if you like what you see, please give us a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and just at some point I will do another video. Don't know when, but it'll be soon. So take care guys, I'll see you next one.